everybody. This is Mike Brennan here at the National Hurricane Center. It's just after 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 7th, coming on with the latest on Tropical Storm Debby this morning. Still centered, as we expected, off the coast of South Carolina, beginning to move a little more steadily toward the northeast at about 6 or 7 miles per hour this morning. We've seen the storm strengthen a little bit now that the center is offshore. Maximum sustained winds are up near 60 miles per hour this morning. But the big story with Debby continues to be the rainfall and flooding threat that's going to play out across the Carolinas in the next day or two, and then expand northward up into the mid-Atlantic states and the northeastern United States. But you can see the large cloud shield associated with Debby with the center here, but heavier rain bands extending well north of the center up into portions, especially now, of eastern North Carolina. We could see some shower and thunderstorm activity starting to redevelop near the center as well, which could increase the rainfall threat again here across portions of coastal South Carolina, southeastern North Carolina over the next couple of days. Looking at the track forecast, we have again the center here off the coast of South Carolina, expecting a generally slow northward motion for the rest of the day today, and that's going to bring the center of Debby to the coast and make landfall somewhere along the South Carolina coast tonight or early Thursday morning. Then the center of Debby is going to start to move a little more quickly toward the north, across inland across eastern South Carolina and into central North Carolina from during the day on Thursday, and then see a faster northward and northeastward motion taking the center of Debby across Virginia and then up into the northeastern United States and into eastern Canada as we go from Friday into Saturday. But let's focus on the rainfall threat at this point. We're still looking at widespread multi-day heavy rainfall event, isolated totals. Maximum totals in portions of coastal South Carolina could still be, in the 20 to 25 inch range, and including portions of southeastern North Carolina as well. As we get up on into western North Carolina, western Virginia, and the mid-Atlantic states, we could see some totals as high as 10 inches in locations, especially along the Appalachian Mountains, the I-81 corridor, the Blue Ridge Mountains there. And then on up into the mid-Atlantic and northeast states, we could see widespread 2 to 4 inch rainfall totals with isolated amounts as high as 6 inches. So we're expecting to see considerable flash flooding risk across many of these locations. And we have flash flood and flood watches in effect from coastal Georgia across eastern South Carolina, central and eastern North Carolina, much of south central and southeastern Virginia. Those watches will likely be expanded northward as we go through the next couple of days. Looking at the rainfall flooding risk, we have that high risk of excessive rainfall over through today and into tomorrow over places like Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Fayetteville, North Carolina, up into the Research Triangle area, south central North Carolina to the east of Charlotte. A moderate risk surrounding that area, extending up into places like Roanoke, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, towards Rocky Mount, North Carolina, parts of the I-95 corridor. And then as we move on into Friday into Saturday morning, the real threat of flash flooding is going to extend up across the mid-Atlantic states, across much of central northeastern Pennsylvania, much of upstate New York, northern and central Vermont, where we've had some flooding over the past several weeks, and then a broader risk of flash flooding in this yellow area across much of the eastern United States from South Carolina all the way up into New England. Again, taking a quick look at the focus areas for today, we're most concerned about this northeastern South Carolina, southeastern North Carolina area, including Wilmington to the Myrtle Beach area just to the northeast of Charleston. As we move from tomorrow, again Thursday into Friday morning, that high risk spreads into places mostly in North Carolina, Fayetteville, Raleigh to the east of Greensboro and Winston-Salem, into south central the Sandhills area of North Carolina, with that moderate risk extending up into Virginia. So again, everybody in those areas, you want to be on the lookout for flood watches or warnings that could be issued for your area. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive emergency weather information, a NOAA weather radio, wireless emergency alerts turned on your cell phone. Be ready to move to higher ground if you're asked to do so by your local officials. In terms of the wind threat, we have seen Debby strengthen overnight and this morning with maximum sustained winds of about 60 miles per hour. Could see a little more intensification before the system makes landfall late tonight or early Thursday. And we do have that tropical storm warning in effect from the Savannah River all the way up to Surf City, North Carolina. So the entire coast of South Carolina, Hilton Head, Beaufort, Charleston, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, up to Wilmington, North Carolina, then a tropical storm watch north of Surf City up to Beaufort Inlet, expecting potentially strong tropical storm winds affecting some of these areas here, beginning especially as the system makes landfall overnight and into Thursday. Could see some tree damage with the saturated soils, power outages. So everyone in those tropical storm warning areas is going to want to be in a safe place until the event is over. Again, on the storm surge front, we don't have any storm surge watches or warnings in effect now, but we could still see coastal flooding, 1 to 3 feet of inundation above ground level from the South Santee River River up to Ocracoke Inlet, including portions of the Neuse and Pamlico rivers. So again, if you live in a coastal flood-prone area, be on the lookout for that rising water coming in from the ocean or from the Pamlico Sound. That could exacerbate the flooding issues caused by the heavy rainfall in some locations. So just to wrap up, let's touch again on the key messages. Biggest concern is going to be heavy rainfall through portions of the Carolinas through Thursday, with areas of considerable flooding, and heavy rainfall will also result in considerable flooding impacts as we move farther north into the mid-Atlantic states and northeast through Saturday morning. On to the tropical storm conditions will affect portions of the North Carolina and South Carolina coast through Thursday, and again, coastal flooding due to storm surge is likely along portions of the South Carolina coast, especially near and to the right of where the center of Debby makes landfall. So please stay tuned for more updates from here at the National Hurricane Center. You can get our latest information at hurricanes.gov. You can get more information from your local National Weather Service office at weather.gov. And stay tuned. We'll be with you throughout the event here from the National Hurricane Center. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Brennan.